Leeds, Sunderland and Burnley were all promoted to the top division of English football at the end of last season, prompting wild celebrations amongst fans for a return to the pinnacle of English club football. However, for the last 2 seasons running, all three newly promoted teams have been relegated straight back down to the Championship. So today we're going to start a series where I take control of each relegated side and try to keep them in the Premier League. To keep all teams fair, I will be using the same database which accounts for all transfers up to and including the 6th of July 2025, and I will be giving each team the same transfer and wage budget. For wage budget, I will use the average from the 3 promoted teams last year, which is about £53 million a year or £1 million per week spent on wages. For transfer budget, each team will have £40 million to spend. To start the series, I will take over Leeds United as I believe they have the best chance of staying up, and will end with Sunderland, who I believe are least likely to stay up. So we take over Leeds on the 3rd of July with a completely up-to-date squad with all injuries removed from players. The board had given us a very generous £18 million to spend on transfers, but that will unfortunately have to be slashed in half to fit our rule set, and the wage budget will be increased to £1.0125 million per week. So this is the lineup Leeds used on their 2-1 win over Plymouth on the final day, excluding Manuel Solomon, who has returned to Tottenham at the expiry of his loan. I think it's a very promising lineup, and with some key additions at left back and in goal, we should be able to stay up reasonably comfortably. In the meantime, 4 players go straight onto the transfer list, with Malier, Bamford, Harrison and Greenwood all being judged not good enough for our team. The squad has a lot of quality centre-backs and defensive midfielders, so to take advantage of this, I'm thinking of using a 3-4-2-1 formation to make best use of 3 centre-backs and 2 DMs, as well as allowing Pirro and Emeka to play together. However, this may change as more signings are brought in throughout the summer. The first part of the summer window was spent looking at free agents, where we immediately offered a contract to Kyle Walker-Peters and took Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Luka Jovic and Hakim Ziyech all on trial. Unfortunately, all these players rejected our contract offers. However, I did bring back Leif Davis to the club for £15 million to be the first choice left wing back. Hopefully his impressive set pieces can be capitalised on by our aerially dominant central defenders. The day before the opening game we had done little business, but I did manage to bring in a new first choice goalkeeper from Vissel Kobe. Unfortunately, the board blocked a permanent move away for Jan Meslier, meaning I must try to loan him out for the remainder of the season. So this is the team we ended up with for our season opener against West Ham, with the only notable absence being Joe Perreault, explained by a pre-season injury. So here we are, 2 minutes into the game, and West Ham send the ball back to the goalkeeper. It's a terrible pass. Tadibo does not know what's going on, and then Mecca nicks it and slots it past Areola to put us 1-0 up, 2 minutes into the game. Then later in the second half, Nonso pokes a brilliant ball through for Ramazani, who puts us 2-0 up. Lovely, well-worked goal, brought out from the back, but then with just over 10 minutes to go, Ampadu is dispossessed by James Ward-Prowse, who scores for 2-1, and with 10 minutes to go, we go defensive. We slot into a 4-4-2, but a long throw from Mikel Antonio. It's cleared out to Jared Bowen, who gets it back off Antonio and shoots, and it's heavily deflected in off Ampadu for 2-2. And as you can see here at the match statistics at the end, we massively outclassed West Ham. We really should have won the game by more than 2 goals. So it's a disappointing result, but we can take a lot from the performance. Our next match was against Burnley, meaning it was time for a must-win game in the fight against relegation. Early in the game against Burnley, we win a corner. Tanaka takes it, swings it on the front post, and Bornau heads it down into the bottom left corner past James Trafford, and we take a 1-0 lead at Turf Moor in a vital game against relegation for us. With just less than half an hour played, Marcus Edwards will take a corner for Burnley. He swings it in towards the front post area. It's cleared away by Jayden Bogle, picked up by Kyle Walker, runs at Brendan Aronson, absolutely skins him, cuts inside, shoots, but it's saved by Makawa. Crucial save, and the score stays 1-0 Leeds United, but Burnley will have another corner. Taken again by Marcus Edwards, swung into the front post again, but cleared out by Ethan Ampadu. And then Jaden Anthony plays back to Marcus Edwards, who is offside, and the highlight ends, and we survive with our 1-0 lead still intact. We hold on to our 1-0 lead until full time, with Maybe an undeserved lead, yes, but we still hold on to it. Only big chance of the game being that Kyle Walker opportunity was excellently saved by Makawa. As you can see by the ratings of our defenders here, we were very solid at the back, apart from that one opportunity Burnley had, which laid the foundations for us to take this very important 3 points and build on that for the rest of the season. Following that tight win over Burnley, we look to improve our midfield options, signing Tom Kearney on a 2-year deal following a successful trial period. The ex-Fulham midfielder offers more than 400 games worth of experience and can play either as a deep-line playmaker in the double pivot or as an advanced playmaker alongside the shadow striker, providing depth and competition to Gruev and Aronson. His injury record is something of concern, but hopefully we can manage his minutes and keep him fit for the season. In the meantime, we managed to sell Jack Harrison to Wolves for 22 million and successfully loaned Melier and Schmidt out to other clubs, giving us £51 million left to spend with over £300,000 a week in weekly wage available. In our next game against Wolves, we scored from 3 early set pieces, setting us up well to finish the game with a 4-0 scoreline, with Dorgu and Ampadu both opening their accounts for the season. And Mecca did add a 5th in stoppage time, but it was ruled out for offside. Despite the next game being a derby against Manchester United, I elected to rest key players for the league, leading to our youthful side being knocked out of the Carabao Cup 2-1 by a full-strength Man United team. Reaching the end of the summer transfer window, you can see the squad is very similar to the original team, with most of our additions being for depth. Since the Manchester United game, we brought in 3 new players: defensive midfielder Stefan Bajcetic on loan from Liverpool, striker Lorenzo Colombo on loan from AC Milan, and Ryan Yates from Nottingham Forest for just over £15 million. All 3 players are primarily for depth, however Bajcetic is expected to challenge Gruev and Tanaka for a starting position in the team. With our summer transfers concluded, we will now skip ahead to January and see how the team have been getting on. As you can see from the schedule on screen, we had an awful run through autumn, picking up only 4 points and losing 6 games out of 10 from a very difficult run of fixtures. However, our form turned around in December as we took 11 points from 7 games, including wins over direct rivals Sunderland and Burnley. This placed us in 13th after 20 games, 6 points clear of the drop, with the bottom half of the table being separated by only 10 points. Squad-wise, Sebastian Borno has scored an incredible 7 goals from centre-back, making him our top scorer, with Leif Davis grabbing 8 assists. However, we are the 3rd lowest scorers in the league, showing that we need to improve our attacking options in January to maximise our chances of staying up. Furthermore, both backup centre-backs Joe Rodon and Jakob Bijol both want to leave due to lack of playing time, with Dan James also unhappy. As January draws to a close, we have managed to sign Marco Olivier from Hajduk Split and Luke Woodfender from Ipswich. These deals cost almost £40 million combined, and both players started in an incredible 3-2 extra time win over Liverpool in the FA Cup 4th round, after we knocked out Chelsea in similar fashion in the previous round. Leandro Dendoncker was then signed for £4 million from Aston Villa to provide backup at centre-back following the departure of Rodon and Bijol. With our new centre-backs and attacking reinforcements in the squad, we will now skip ahead to the end of the season to see if we can reach our goal of staying in the Premier League. So here we are on the 20th of May after 38 games, and as you can see we have comfortably stayed up, with 46 points landing us in 13th position. Wolves, Bournemouth and Sunderland were the 3 teams relegated, with Liverpool winning the league by some margin. Looking at our squad performance, you can see Lorenzo Colombo had an excellent second half of the season, with all of his 12 goals coming after January, where he replaced the struggling Mecca. Bornal came through in second, with all of his 10 goals coming from corners, showing the strength of our set pieces, where Leif Davis continued to be his top assister, with Mekawa keeping 10 clean sheets. This is how the team ended up looking by the end of the challenge, where we easily kept Leeds in the division. If anyone wants a video on how I set up my set pieces to be so effective, let me know in the comments, or if you want any other tactical videos. Be sure to look out for the next episode, where we will take charge of Burnley and give any video requests in the comments.